Good afternoon and welcome to banddirector.com. My name is Mike Pressler. I'm the president of the Illinois Music Educators Association, and I'm very pleased to have an opportunity to visit with Chip DeStafano this afternoon.
Hi, I'm Chip DeStafano. I'm the director of bands here at McCracken Middle School. Very much looking forward to our performance this evening, and thank Dave Knox from banddirector.com for being here to broadcast it for us.
Great. So Chip, tell me how long you've been at McCracken, and how's the program grown in that period of time?
This is our 12th. This is my 12th year at McCracken Middle School. Right out of college, it was my first job, and in terms of numbers, it's grown quite substantially. There was 86 kids here when I first started, and now we're well over 200. And just in terms of the performance level of the kids, both individually and as a group, I think we've developed fairly nicely over those years.
I would have to agree. I've had a chance to observe that in a period of time. Tell me a little bit about, what in your opinion are the particular strengths of your school, of your district, particularly as it relates to your band program.
This is the McCracken Middle School. I really feel like it's a very special place. It's an average school when you think about it in terms of its makeup, in terms of its size. But in terms of this community support for the arts, not only band, but music and drama and the visual arts as well. The community is very supportive, and our school board reflects that, our administration reflects that, and the whole staff reflects that. Mm-hmm. Our students reflect that. So the arts are very important here.
Yeah. How big is actually McCracken Middle School?
McCracken Middle School, it's about 125 kids per grade, so there's about 400 kids in this building, 6 through 8.
Okay.
And we start band in 4th grade. So from 4th grade to 8th grade, we have about 210 kids in band right now.
Very good. Is the size of the district increasing, decreasing, or is it pretty well stable?
It's been pretty stable over the years since I've been here. Still around hovering between 100 and 125 per grade. And future numbers, which I'm always checking, they're about around 100 to 125 per grade. So, mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Shifting gears a little bit, tell me a little bit about tonight's concert, the program, the repertoire. What are we going to hear tonight?
Well, tonight's concert started. I'm on banddirector.com. I've been on banddirector.com quite a bit, just as a user of the website and enjoying the live webcasts, and had an opportunity to communicate with Dave just through email and various type things. And we were fortunate to be invited to perform at the Midwest Clinic last year, and I was looking for something special to do this year so that this year wouldn't feel like a letdown for the kids. And I thought of Dave's live webcast and thought, boy, that would be a lot of fun. It would be great for the kids, something to get excited about. And so I emailed Dave up and just asked if he'd be interested, and here we are today.
Great.
In terms of programming tonight's concert, I kind of treated it very similarly to the Midwest performance in terms of its length. Not so much in terms of the repertoire requirements, but aiming for about a 45-minute long concert with about 35 minutes of actual music, with a variety of difficulties and styles, and really kind of looking for good literature to share with the audience.
Tell me a little more. As you build a concert program, you talked about variety and just the quality of the literature, particularly. Do you have a formula or something that you try to follow in terms of the experiences you want the kids to have during that concert? Or
I don't know if it's a formula. In the fall, certainly in the fall, I gear our programming more towards our weaknesses and addressing our weaknesses. If there's a section that's a little less experienced, they'll get featured. Sure. If I have a first chair player who's timid and shy, they'll get a solo. Or less experienced, they'll have a couple opportunities to really force them to I guess, up their game a little bit.
So it sounds to me like a lot of times, in the band biz, we talk about accentuating the strengths and minimizing the weaknesses, and you're actually sort of just turning that around so that you really force them out of their comfort zone.
In the fall. Yeah. In the spring, I focus on our strengths, and I try to feature our strengths, and by that point, the quality of all the sections is fairly equal because I've spent so much time on the sections that needed the extra work.
Sure.
The strengths are still our strengths, though, and I want to showcase them and feature them. And the spring tends to be contest season and festival season.
Right.
So those are kind of the areas I look at.
About how long do you take with your students to prepare a concert performance? What do you budget time-wise?
Every 6 to 8 weeks with this band, with the symphonic band, every 6 to 8 weeks. This band, a lot of the schools in Illinois, if you're not familiar with their setup, it's a little bit odd compared to the rest of the country in that all of our rehearsals are outside the school day. And during the school day, we have time to pull them from class for lessons or sectionals or really whatever, however I want. If I want to use it for chamber music, I can use it for chamber music. However I want to structure that, I can structure it however I want. So it's not unusual in this area to have middle school bands that don't meet every day. And I'm fortunate with this top band that I do see them every day. So I'm able to program a concert with them every 6 to 8 weeks. If we had to do something in 4, we could get it done in 4. But the 6 to 8 week window seems pretty comfortable for me.
All right. So now you said your band meets every day?
We meet every day, and actually we meet twice on Tuesdays.
How's
and then Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday we meet from 7:20 to 8 o'clock. And then Tuesday after school, it's actually a shortened school day. I'm fortunate to have the kids from 2:10 to 3:30 Tuesdays after school.
Okay.
That's a nice block of time, and it would be hard to do what we do without that block of time, actually. And then Wednesdays, we don't have full group rehearsal, but I do pull the kids from one period each day, and we work in like instrument sectionals, working on the music that we're performing.
Okay. So again, the regular sectional time is that once a week a pull-out where you actually get to take some time during the regular academic or school day, as we call it. Then do you, and other sectionals as needed, I take it. So if you needed to pull something out, we might substitute or pull them in the morning, that kind of thing?
Not too much of that. Occasionally there'll be an individual student who's struggling, and they'll come in after school. I have other bands that I'm rehearsing too, so my day usually goes till 4, so anything extra that I schedule has to be after 4 or before 7:20.
Sure. It's a long day.
It is a long day.
How many of your kids study privately?
In the top band, the band that's performing tonight, probably at around 85% of this group is studying privately. In the whole program, it's closer to 35 to 40% of the whole program. But usually, the top band is usually a very high percentage, depending on the economic times. And if times are good, then there's more kids studying. Absolutely.
Now, do you have instructors who come into the school, or do the kids all go out for lessons?
Unfortunately, we don't have an in-school private lesson program. We don't really even have the facilities to do it if I wanted it, but it's not something the administration didn't really feel comfortable having.
No, I understand.
But we are fortunate for two things. One is the high schools do have private lesson programs that the kids can participate in. We're also very close to Northwestern University for my students to study there. And we have several teachers who actually visit the kids' houses, which is the best of all.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. I know that you've been active in commissioning works many times over past years for your band. What are the benefits of that undertaking, in your opinion?
I think it's important to commission works, and I do it for a couple of reasons. I can't think of a better way to introduce and let the kids see the creative process in action from a professional composer. And I also think it's important to support the quality of good works for our age level, and to support those composers that I feel do a really good job writing for this level. And so that's kind of why I do it. I don't necessarily do it for the publicity or getting our name on the top of the piece or not, but really to have our kids experience a specific composer and experience the work being grown really out of nothing. If all things being ideal, the composer comes in and works with the kids, and the kids have a chance to ask them questions about the piece and work with him on the piece or her on the piece. It's been the several times we've done it, it's been just a really wonderful experience for the students.
About how from the time you start the conversations about a commission until we actually have a chance to start rehearsing, performing, about how much time has that typically involved for you?
It's probably a couple of years, a year to 2 years, and that's mostly because of the composer's schedule. That sounds about right. And then it allows us enough time to plan the composer visits and secure funding and.
Exactly. You have any advice for anyone who's considering doing a commission?
Well, I think I think it's important to pick composers that you generally like their body of work, that you're fairly sure that you're going to like the piece that you get. But even if you don't like the piece that you get, you feel comfortable that you're supporting this composer and supporting their work. And even if that specific piece isn't your favorite, it's going towards the creation of other pieces as well, as they are able to continue their craft. And I also, and this is something I got from Douglas Akey, who we've actually commissioned several works from, is to commission a work about a half a grade level to a grade level below what that band is truly capable of doing. And mostly it's because you're spending so much money on this piece, you want it to sound the best in the program.
Absolutely.
And if you commission something that really pushes the limit of the ensemble, it has a chance of maybe not going as well as some of the other works that can be done.
Good common sense there. All right, great. Tell me a little more. I know your bands, Chip, have performed a number of high-profile performances. You've performed at MENC National Conference. You've performed at IMEA, our All-State Conference, both as a featured group and as a clinic group. As a matter of fact, you're going to be coming back again here in just a few weeks. And you played at the Midwest Clinic, just to name a few. I know there have been a number of these sort of performances. How have these performances benefited your students?
They've been huge. We've never actually performed at the National MENC. We've applied and not been accepted. We have the regional MENC conferences. We have performed at 2 of those. I like them because, at least to me, they're high pressure performances that aren't competition related. Sure. That the pressure is more intrinsic, both for me and for the students. And it's I don't know. They've every time we've done a conference performance, they've been a positive experience for the students. They have a chance to observe the conference and take part in the conference and go through the exhibits and see teachers doing what they love and working to get better at what they love and really kind of, I don't know, maybe have an opportunity, whether they get it or not, but have an opportunity to get it and see how huge this is. Because I do think the general public doesn't really know what we do. We're kind of a little hidden secret, a gem of the education field.
Well, I think there's, in my experience, I think a lot of times, the kids sort of get the hard work leading up to something, but it's the benefits that continue to pay after you've done the performance, and they sort of start having their own aha moments, as they hear other groups or kind of put 2 and 2 together with some of the things that maybe a clinician said or somewhere along the way.
And the audiences for these conferences are the best. They're just the best. They're fellow educators, they're colleagues, they understand what it takes to perform at a certain level, to even just get invited, much less to put on, let's say, a 45-minute concert. Sure. And so they're always just incredibly appreciative, and I think the kids really sense that and do get that reward. The true, why we do this, why we perform is the applause and the sense of accomplishment we get from that. Sure.
Do you have any recommendations, again, for other directors? Maybe some directors who may have really fine programs, but have not decided they were going to sort of lay it out there on one of these things. Do you have any recommendations or advice for people who might be considering submitting an application tape and sort of dipping their toe in the pool, so to speak?
Well, I would certainly recommend doing it. I think even just the application process makes, for me at least, it makes me a better teacher. It makes me, I don't know, we've gotten better as a program just from the application process. And in terms of Midwest, for example, we applied for 5 consecutive years to perform at Midwest. Finally getting lucky on that last one to get invited. And I do think that each year our application gets stronger, both in terms of the actual content of the application, but most importantly in terms of the performance of the band and the performance, the playing level of the kids. So if you use it as a tool to help the program get better, I think that's certainly the case. And I think in terms of advice, if you're thinking about doing it, obviously if you haven't attended the conference that you want to apply to, you want to certainly go and attend and see the groups that are performing and see what the committees are looking for. One of the things I did that was, I think, extraordinarily helpful after our 4th rejection from Midwest is I actually called up Mark Moret from Mark Custom Recording,
Sure.
and I ordered all of the TMEA CDs because I think this is a terrific tradition. The Texas bands traditionally, on their TMEA performances, also include their audition tape to get in that they use to get invited to the TMEA. Okay. And so, and a lot of those tapes are also submitted to Midwest, and Texas is always very well represented at Midwest, of course. And so, you know, I listened to their audition tapes, and I knew they would be good, but it really did open my eyes as to what we were competing against.
Sure.
And you don't think of it as a competition, but the reality is there's a finite number of spots, and you want to, if they're only inviting 3 bands, you got to crack that top 3.
Yeah.
So that opened my eyes a lot in terms of, and we made some changes based on those tapes. We changed. We had been recording our tape in our gym, for example, and the year we got invited, we bussed them down to the University of Illinois and taped in their concert hall. In the Cranner Center, which is just a beautiful facility.
Sure.
So we made several changes just based on you know, kind of seeing what other groups were doing.
Very, very good. Thank you. I want you to take a step back. Think for a moment here. You say you've been this is 12 years that you've been teaching, and I was fortunate, I think, to get to hear you at a festival in the first year, and I've gotten a chance to hear your bands many times in the years since then. Think back into your preparation as you were working through a couple of degrees, getting ready to teach. If you had the opportunity, you know, are there any things that you would do differently, or that you wish you had maybe a little different emphasis in your preparation that would have helped you then?
I don't know, and I've thought about this. I don't know how much I would change. My undergraduate is actually in trombone performance.
Okay.
And about midway through my junior year, beginning of my senior year, is when I thought, I think I want to teach. And at that point, I just decided it'd be easiest if I just finished the degree and then got the music education degree as I was getting my master's. And both my degrees were from Northwestern, and the Northwestern degree is it's very research based, it's very philosophy based, and for me, that was perfect for what I needed, because I do think I had a pretty good grasp on the what to do and how to do it, and how to be a good musician, and how to work with students and to bring out their best. But the why, I don't know if I really knew. You know, why was it important? Why, and that philosophical background, for me, I think was really important. So I don't know how much I would change. I had wonderful cooperating experiences, both here and at Highland Park High School with Glenn Williams, and I felt very prepared when I entered. Now, I was probably young and naive too, but I knew going into it how hard I was going to have to work, and the basic general things I would need to do to have a successful program.
Okay, great. Tell me a little bit about technology. Does technology play a role in your program presently, or do you have plans to incorporate a little bit more in the future?
Not too much, unfortunately, and it's one of those, I don't know, it's one of those things that I always think, boy, it would be great, and then time, and I never get to a chance to implement it. I'd love, like smart music, for example, I'd love to incorporate smart music, especially in our younger grades, both as a tool and a motivation type thing. I guess the technology that I use most often is a digital recorder to record the rehearsals, so that I can listen to those rehearsals on my way home and use them the night before to prepare for the following day's rehearsal. That's certainly where we use technology the most, although the computer aspect, not too much. We have a website where we collect, you know, all the resources we use here and make them available to other band directors, McCrackenband.com. And I don't know, that's pretty much what we do. I guess we use it as a communication tool for parents, but as a teaching tool, not so much right now.
Not so much yet. Okay. What's the very favorite aspect of your job? What do you like best?
I love the kids. I think, you know, that's why we get into. I think why most of us get into teaching is for the kids, and I really love the kids of this community, and just the fact. I mean, for the simple fact that they've bought into what we're trying to do here, and they're willing to put forth the effort and put forth the work and come to school an hour earlier than any other classmates do, and you know, we go through our schedule and the intensity of our rehearsals, and they put up with me, and I really do enjoy teaching them and working with them and helping them achieve and be their best. And then I think second to that would be the music, and I'm just a band geek, just period. I love this stuff, and I always have, going back to 6th grade when I started. I just love it, and I love digging into the music. I love listening to the recordings and finding pieces that we can play, and working through that stuff with the kids, and I think those are the two things. It's really the perfect career for me. I couldn't see myself doing anything else.
That's a wonderful thing. So tell me, what do you think is the greatest challenge facing the profession in terms of the band world?
Well, I've been fairly. I like where our profession is, and where we're heading in a lot of ways. I like the energy I see out of young directors. I like that I've seen both through student teachers and just through in the neighboring schools, the preparation that they're receiving, their willingness to learn, their willingness to come to different schools and observe. I do think our profession is at least in this area, in pretty good hands, in terms of the future and the excitement that's building from this. I think, as always, it's probably not isolated to this specific time period. The different trends in education in general, and how they affect music education and bands, are something that we always need to kind of keep an eye out for and see how they're affecting our students. Music Educators National Conference takes the national approach, and I think does a really good job advocating for music on the national level. In all the areas, and in Illinois we have the Illinois Music Educators Association, who does a terrific job at the state level, advocating for us and really getting it in the public side. But at the local level, where we're all affected, it's me, and it's the directors at the individual schools, and it can be hard with everything else we have going on to throw advocacy as part of our job. But it needs to be part of our job, because when it boils right down to it, we are our own advocates, and we need to advocate for ourselves, and we need to advocate for our profession and our students. Because I truly believe that music education is a vital piece of education for every child, and it's important for these kids. And without it, and without the opportunity to appropriately express themselves every day, their education would just not be the same, not as complete, and they just wouldn't know themselves as well as they could through music education. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge that we face is that local level of music advocacy, and as local as your own school or as local as your own district, and surrounding communities.
Okay. So tell me, just as we sort of wrap up here, what are your future plans, the dreams? What's the vision for your program? What are we going to see in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years here at McCracken?
Oh, I don't know. Hopefully we'll continue to improve and get better, and hopefully I'll become a better teacher and be able to do things more efficiently. I would absolutely love to be able to perform at the Midwest Clinic again. That was such an amazing experience from the day we got invited to the performance on stage. That was an amazing experience for me. It was an amazing experience for the students. They still talk about it today.
Well, my understanding is you've seen quite a growth in just the numbers, the parent, the community awareness of your program, and the growth in students just in the last few months.
We were able to spin that into just a wonderful publicity aspect, and the local paper was very supportive. Several articles for us, but it helped our recruitment immensely, and our recruitment was fine beforehand. But over 100 beginners in 4th grade. And then the 4th grade class is larger this year, so they have about 150, but that's a pretty good percentage. And retention from 4th to 5th grade from last year was huge, and I actually have more students in 4th and 5th grade this year, total, than I had in the entire program last year. So it's been great, and the visibility and all the positives that came out of that performance were just so many that I probably don't even know what they all were.
Very good. Sounds like it was a great advocacy opportunity.
It was fabulous.
All right. Well, I think we're about ready to wrap up and get ready for concert time here.
Put on a suit, fold some programs, and
there you go.
Get ready for a concert.
All right. Very good. Chip DeStafano, good talking to you.
Good talking to you. Thanks.